Right, so Tashi Delek, everybody. Thakar Sang. Happy Pure Wednesday. I hope everybody is doing well. And here we go again. Continues Wednesdays with Rinpoche. So everybody who joined here, I welcome you all. And as you all know, that Wednesday we don't have any specific topic. So casually we are actually discussing some Dharma topics. And so today actually randomly actually something came up that I posted something on the Facebook. Open your arms with a smile and open your heart with the compassion. And so I just put this one posture, keeping my arms open on this very holy mountain in the South India. So it is one of my favorite actually spiritual spot. So there's a lot of historical like ancient Indian master who actually visited that place, and so that is a very special place. And so when I took that picture and then I looked at the picture and I thought, so this is some kind of message that I always kind of follow. I put that into my practice too, that just kind of keeping our arms open. So it is actually a very wonderful gesture, right? It's a wonderful posture. I always, whenever I see, like, you know, when you go to the many Christian church, I always see like a Jesus Christ opening his arm, and so it's very what you call profound message. So somehow it is a message of sort of like if you want to receive, then you have to open, right? So it is like it's a gesture of like opening our arms, like sort of like a welcoming, right? So it is like welcome, come, sort of like you know, I am ready to embrace you, sort of like come and I will embrace you, sort of like so it is a gesture of love and compassion. And so with this word open arms, sort of like it is kind of like when we open our arms, that is a symbol, that is the gesture of very welcoming, sort of like I am open, sort of like I welcome you. And then same thing like when we smile, right? When we smile, that is also a very welcoming gesture, right? It's just like when you smile, you actually, your face opens, right? Your face lit up, your face open, just kind of like it is an expression of happiness, right? It is something that we human beings have this capability. So I always think that it doesn't take any energy, it doesn't cost anything, right? So it is just like we have this natural gifted thing that our arms, actually we can keep our arms open and be welcoming, sort of like instead of like so resistance, right? It's just like resistance and keeping ourselves like close, like, you know, when you are like so close, this is kind of like it's a gesture of fear, right? When you are so fearful, when you're so much full of doubt, when you're so much full of anxiety, right? For example, when people are not happy, like what is their physical expression? Like their physical expression is they actually pull their two shoulders forward, and then they just bend down, and they're kind of like a very, like a physically it's actually closed, right? It's just kind of, we are closed, sort of like we don't want to look up, we don't want to actually sort of like open. So it's just kind of like when we actually go into depression, what happens is we want to put ourselves in a very close boxed area, right? Sort of like, and physically also, when we are so fearful and when we are full of anxiety, what happens is this shoulder actually comes. So it is a gesture of being unhappy. So that is why just kind of like open arms, right? Open face. It's like opening the face is also, it's a smile, right? It's just kind of like we can smile, right? Everybody can smile. So why don't we use it? Why don't we use something that if it is something that is we have an ability, right? We have an ability to smile. Because maybe that sometimes people might thinking that, okay, that is silly. Why should I smile? Right? It's just kind of like, so it is, I don't know, like there is no reason. Sometimes I don't need a reason to smile. I just kind of like, just keeping myself little smiling. So that is I am taking advantage of a natural gift that is given to us as a human being, right? So, and it is just like there is no there's no losing. Like if you smile, it's just a win-win situation, right? If you smile, you are happy, and if you give smile to somebody else, they are happy, right? It's just kind of like when you are actually walking down the road and you see, somebody just coming, and then you just give a little smile and just a little bow. It's a nice gesture, right? It's just like you can see, like you just go and then you just kind of like respectfully bow to someone and then just smile, and it just kind of, it makes the other person's day, right? It's just like a giving example to ourselves. If you just going, somebody just like coming with a smile and they just give you this kind of nice look, then it is nice, right? Then if somebody, on the opposite side, on the contrary, like if you go on down the road and then you see someone with a nice long face and then giving you a bad look, and then just kind of like something, then it made us wonder, like sort of like, what did I do? Like sort of like, so it is like if some other person do that to us, we feel that. So if we do that to other person, then they will also feel the same, right? So that is why sort of like I always kind of like think that is kind of like an open arm, open face, open sort of like a smile, right? So this is kind of like, it's not something deep spiritual message, right? It is so, it is so common sense, right? It is kind of like something that we all know, but we kind of like I don't know why feel kind of why we actually stop, why we don't open, right? Sort of like so just kind of like physically open arms, and then just kind of like you actually sort of like if you want to receive a blessing, it doesn't necessarily you have to believe in God or you have to believe in some higher being, or sort of like it's just kind of like if there is some positive things, if there is something positive, so somehow it is kind of like you have to keep yourself open to receive. If you are not open to open, then how can the positive energy or positive things will actually come into you? Sort of it's just like somehow you're blocking it. You're you're keeping it away, and then at the end of the day, sometimes we complain why didn't I receive anything? Why didn't I receive any positive things? And it's just kind of like the thing is that we are not open, right? We are not open for the positive things. And then opposite. Sometimes we're not open for the positive thing, but we are so open to the negative things, right? It's just kind of like if there is something negative happening, if there's some kind of gossip happening, if there's some sort of like a bad sort of blaming to someone, things happening, then how we are so open, what is going on? What sort of so that is kind of that is a negative openness, right? So that is why being open also sometimes open has a where you're open to. Are you open to the positive things or are you open to the negative things, right? So that is also open has another meaning there too. So the thing is if we keep ourselves open, open arms for the positive things, right? So so that is an open arms with a smile. So simple, right? Very simple. Sort of I always say, whether you are religious, non-religious, believer, non-believer, as a human, just kind of if you can live your life with a more smile, then I think that is wonderful, right? It's just kind of when you see the people who is it's kind of full of smile, it's just kind of there's a light, right? There's a shining sort of and somewhere I always think that that's attractive, right? It's just attractive, it's just when you see someone with a smiling face, it's just it looks nice, isn't it? They look nice, aren't they? Just kind of somehow it is kind of it's welcoming, right? It's a welcoming. So open arms with a smile is a kind of a simple yet very effective. Sometimes we think that, oh, these are just so simple. Sometimes in our life, things are so simple. Things are so simple that we just keep missing it. So sometimes we think that, oh, some kind of spiritual message or profound message is something totally out of the simplicity, right? And then we keep missing the basic, basic things in our life, and then searching for something, something profound in the complex philosophy, right? Complex philosophy and something, if somebody is saying something that is something I don't understand the word, and then we think that, oh, that must be something profound, and then I should be doing. And then on the other hand, sometimes I think many, when we actually go into studies and, religious kind of belief, and then kind of the effect of being a religious person or being sort of so learned person, there is some kind of consequences is that sometimes when people become too religious, they become so afraid. They become so afraid of hell, and they are so sort of afraid of hell, and then sort of they become more and more unhappy. First, they were all very smiley, but then something down the line that their belief made something that they like somehow, they were taught that you should not laugh, you should not be happy, and then they become more longer and longer face and sort of like unhappier. I don't know. That is losing the essence of life, right? So I always think that the more spiritual you become, the more religious you become, I think you should wear more smile on your face. The more smile smiley you are, more sort of like open, welcoming. I think that is the sign that your spirituality is actually going on where it is supposed to go, right? Then other things after studying religious thing, philosophy thing, and then like the result is like if you're becoming more and more arrogant and you become more more and more sort of criticizing, if you are making some statement and this is my statement, if somebody actually does some opposite statement than what you believe, and then you sort of you lose your temper and then sort of taking things personally, you are attacking me, and then it hurt my ego, it hurt my pride. So it's just if you become more and more pride and arrogance and sort of if you're losing your smile over the arrogance, then right, that is also, I think, not going in a right direction, right? So open arms with a smile. This is something everybody can do. We don't, it doesn't cost anything, right? It doesn't cost anything, just kind of scientifically also, people are saying that, when we smile, so there's a little muscles that is actually attached in our face that is directly, when you actually smile, it just kind of pulls some nerves and it triggers something in your brain that it just kind of immediately, what happens is it does something in our brain, physiologically, right? Physiologically, sort of and that is, we don't have to do a lot of research on that, right? Just kind of you sit down and then see, how, what is it affecting you? Just just smile, and then see, it changes, right? It can shift your mood, it can shift your actually perspective, and you will start seeing things differently, right? When you look at the things with a smile, it kind of your perspective actually will change more into sort of a positive perspective when you're looking at the things with a smile. But then there is a smile also has a sarcastic smile is not, we are talking here, okay? Sarcastic smile is actually worse than long face. Then I'm not saying, don't do sarcastic smile. Then it's just kind of if you do some sarcastic smile to people, then it is negative, and it is a little bit what you call harmful, right? It's harmful. It harmful. So that's why, when I say smile, genuine smile, genuine, right? It's just kind of even when you look at these little kids, right? And you look at them, and then they give you a smile, and their smile is so genuine, and we all know that their smile is genuine, and then they are so open, right? So something that actually, when you smile, a genuine smile on other people's face, it triggers something in our heart, right? It triggers something in our heart. So that is another thing. And then just kind of open heart with the compassion. So just kind of when we say open, right? Open has a many different meaning, right? Open has a many different meaning. Sort of in Tibetan, when we say open means kachewa, means something that is unfolding, sort of like unfold, right? Unfold. So open has that kind of meaning. And another meaning is like open means sort of like free from obstruction, right? Free from obstruction, diva meva, right? And then open also means sort of like kuyangbo, spacious, right? Open means like also spacious, sort of like so open heart. So that is kind of like the word. Sometimes we take things so literally that like when we say open heart, then people think, oh, it is like an open heart surgery, sort of like so we always think heart means this physical heart that is beating, like always this like a heart, physical heart. We always think, but heart doesn't mean. Heart actually means the central, right? The central, the essence, sort of like the central essence, and sort of like the source of our being. That is also heart, right? So it is just kind of like something like the from your deep being, sort of like from your deep being, sort of like we are being, right? So the center of our being. So center of our being means from a very deep, sort of like something that our essence, sort of that is the heart. So don't take it literally. Heart doesn't mean like okay, opening the physical heart or anything. So it is just kind of like on a very deep like a level of our being, sort of like what is in there in our deep there is a compassion. So this compassion it is naturally, we are like in our deep sense, it is naturally, compassion is there. So open means sort of like no obstruction. So like you're not like you are not closing it. It is just kind of like it is just like the light, right? The compassion, the kindness, love. That is actually it is our basic. What do you call? Basic. Sometimes we call it like a basic goodness, right? Basic wellness, like well-being, or basic sort of a foundation, right? The foundation of our being. So somewhere, like our being, we are actually built on a compassion. Sort of compassion, caring, right? Very caring and very like a very sort of like what do you call? Like open, right? It's just like a very compassion is like something that is very kind of like thinking it as a part of it, right? Like no separation. So no separation. It is just like we are all same, equal, and one very important factor in compassion is it has kind of including everybody, sort of like it is the opposite of excluding, right? It's the opposite of excluding. So somehow, like when kind of like our basic goodness nature is that we actually we want to include everybody. So that is why it is just like compassion is in our deep nature. So we are like we can actually call we are all compassionate nature. We are all very kind nature. We are all very loving nature. So kind of open heart means kind of like being spacious, sort of like no obscuration, sort of like keeping. So somehow it is like if you open your heart, then it is like your love and your compassion actually will starting to actually grow. So it is like somehow we sometimes we say that we can actually we can cultivate compassion, we can generate compassion. So we can say that, right? We can say that, but sometimes that will give different meaning, right? So it is like a different meaning, that something that we don't have a love, we don't have a compassion. So somehow we have to bring that love and compassion from somewhere else, and then trying to grow, kind of trying to cultivate something. So generally, I think when you kind of understand the meaning of open heart, sort of like making your heart open means spacious. Sort of like a spacious means sort of like if you make your heart more space, full of space, right? If you make your heart more space, then love and compassion and kindness, they are all in us, already there. So only thing why we are not experiencing our this love and compassion that is kind of existing in us is because it is just like there is a sprout is growing, and then you don't have a space. It's just like a very close, dark, and then no matter how hard you try, even though you have a seed, so this seed will not grow, right? Why it will not grow? Why it will not grow is because there is no space, because there is no light. So what do we have to do for that? Like if there is a seed, you want to grow that seed into some sprout and then into a big tree. What you have to do is you have to make a space. You have to make a space. You have to keep it open, right? You have to keep it open. Light comes, right? The light comes, and all these kind of things. So that is the kind of meaning. So somehow, if you keep your heart open, means kind of like making space, spacious, right? Making space, and so if you actually kind of what you can do is actually you can the camera yes so if you can actually I think we can actually make space, right? We can make space for our love and compassion to grow, sort of so that is why I think open has a very interesting meaning. And so that is why in the Buddha's teaching, especially in the Prajnaparamita teaching, so Buddha actually taught a lot on emptiness. And somehow, what is the connection, right? What is the connection between understanding the emptiness and the compassion, right? Somehow, they kind of help each other, right? So if you understand the emptiness, then your compassion will grow, right? Your compassion will grow. And if your compassion grow, then it will actually help you to understand the emptiness. So, if we look at even the word emptiness actually means spacious, right? So sometimes we actually take the negative connotation of tongpa, so empty, empty sometimes kind of means a kind of nothing, sort of we have some negative connotation about the empty. But for example, if there is an empty glass, right? If there's an empty cup, so if we look at the meaning of empty from a different way, then it also means full of space, right? What is the difference between full of space and empty, right? So if we look at the meaning of emptiness from a full of space point of view, then actually it is positive, right? Something that when you understand that it's when you understand that everything is not congested, solid, inherently exists, not something independent. So when you actually understand, oh, there's all space, it's a spacious, then somehow like the method. So that is why there is a connection between, like a open mind and open heart, right? So this is kind of like a open mind means wisdom, understanding, right? And then open heart meaning that you are actually becoming more compassionate. Sort of like when you open your heart, then what happens is you are open means what is actually flowing, what is actually coming out of your heart, because there is a treasure of love and compassion. So love and compassion, like we don't have a lack of love and compassion. It is love and compassion is not lacking in us. Love and compassion is there. It is just like, it's not just a little love and compassion. We have a treasure of genuine love and compassion. So how can we actually let this love and compassion come out, right? Into unfold, like how can we actually unfold our love, our compassion, our kindness, only if we can open, only if we open. So that is why it is just like an opening heart. And how can we open? Then actually kind of like understanding, sort of like, so there is actually connection between open mind and open heart, right? So open mind, open mind and the wisdom, right? Open mind and wisdom will come. Open heart and love and compassion will come, right? Open arms and you will receive. All right. So anyway, this is kind of like a kind of random thought that today I actually thought when I kind of like when I saw my picture opening my arms. So just kind of like keep your arms open, keep your face open, keep your heart open, keep your mind open, and the more open we are, sort of like even like you keep your shoulders open, right? If you keep your shoulders open, and so that's kind of posture-wise, it's open, and be open, right? Openness, sort of like like another opposite meaning of the open is also narrow, right? Narrow is the opposite of open, right? So if somebody has a narrow mind, then it is a open, it's a closed mind, right? Closed-minded. So closed-minded, if your mind is too closed, then what happens is you only think from your point of view. It is just like, only from my point of view, everything is right if it is right from my point of view. So then it is like this kind of, with this open, like a closed, narrow mind, what happened is it is just kind of like your mind will only think of me, my, what will happen to me, what will happen, sort of like if you keep thinking like that, my thinking is, my way of thinking is right, I am right, mine is right, sort of like if you live your life with that kind of thinking, then what happens is you become very close-minded, you become very narrow-minded. When your mind is closed, then your heart will definitely close. And not only that, if your mind is closed, if you have a very narrow-minded, then your physical posture and gesture will also become very narrow, very close, sort of like, and then kind of like you will go into depression, right? It is just like I always think that sometime with the different circumstances, what happens is it makes our mind close, and then after your mind close, then everything starting to fall apart. right? Everything's starting to fall apart. Because why? Because it is like you are becoming sort of like a more self-centered, more me kind of type. Me, what will happen to me? What will people think of me? Me. And that is the symptom of closed-minded. So keep your mind open, right? It's just kind of keeping your mind open. You know, it is just kind of like we can actually, okay, this is my point of view, and then there should be other people's point of view too. And then, you know, let's see, you know, okay, just say, this is from, you know, from my point of view, this is like a, you know, from where I am standing, I see this as a yellow. And then there's the other person who puts a, you know, eyeglass with a red shade, and then they are looking at the same stuff and they see that as a red, and then we should understand that, okay, you know, it is like they see that as a red, and then why should I argue? Sort of like so it is just kind of like we can actually sort of like accept that, okay, so from my point of view, it is a yellow, but from your point of view, it is a red. And then, you know, why should we try to prove that, okay, you know, that is yellow, and then the other person is also not giving up and saying that, no, it is red, because I see it as a red. So maybe, you know, both of us are wearing a different shade. Maybe I'm wearing a yellow shade and you're wearing a red shade, and somebody else is wearing a green shade, and then looking at the same object, seeing it differently. And so once you know that it is from my point of view, it is this, from your point of view, it is that, from other people's point of view, it is that. So that's, so be it, right? So be it. So what is the big deal? So the big deal is because if somebody say that is not red, you know, somebody say you see that as a yellow, and somebody see that as a, say that object that, no, this is not yellow, this is the red. And then what happened is we actually kind of think that, okay, that means I'm wrong, I'm not right. And then immediately what happened is, I should be right. Why? Because I am most important person. So if I'm not right, then, you know, okay, I must be very bad. And then just kind of like we get so attached to this being right. And then when it comes to being right and being happy, and we always, right, many people always choose to be right. So they don't care about being happy, right? Being happy is not so important. Being right is more important. But then it is actually silly. Why we want to be right is because we think that if I'm right, then I will be happy. But then it is actually going in the opposite way, right? So anyway, so these are the things. Okay. So anyway, tonight topic is on open arms with a smile, open heart with a compassion. Okay, so maybe that much is enough. So let me not just keep laughing. If you let me keep laughing, I will just keep on going. All right. So anyway, so everybody who is here on this digital platform on Facebook. For this 1 year, we have been actually connecting through this, and even though it is just kind of like digitally, but it is just kind of, you can see my reflection, and you can also hear my sound, and so even if we meet in person to person, you know, that is that kind of conversation, I will say. So anyway, nice to see all of you here, and I will see if there is any question, and then I see a lot of people here greeting, and I see Jamian Brimala, Tashidelek, and then Tashipunzo, Tashidelek, Andrew Wall, Tashidelek. So your teaching are always inspiring. Thank you so much. You are welcome. And then Jamyonla saying Katinche Rinpoche for your regular profound teaching. You are welcome, Jamyon Dumala. And then Janet Campbell Tashidelek and Parwa Parish Mosher Tashidelek, Sonia Ondish Tashidelek, and then I see Gombo Wandala Tashidelek and John Gossett Tashidelek, Siring Gurung Tashidelek, and so here David Tashidelek Rinpoche, you are saying Tashidelek David, thank you so much for the Wednesday teaching, such a blessing. You are very welcome. And Jitka Marigold Tashidelek, and Cheryl Tashidelek, Cheryl, and Kathy Hodge Tashidelek, thank you for your teaching, you are welcome. And then Elizabeth Dreher Tashidelek, I needed this teaching this morning, thank you so much, you are welcome. And then Dennis Shaver and Josh Miller, your guys are watching, Tashidelek, and Patricia Tashidelek, Miyuki Onazawa Watanabe Tashidelek, thank you, you're welcome. And Sewan Kerabla Tashidelek, David Komito, you have some question? Oh, it is from Kayla Tashidelek. Such an important teaching with so many of us having a difficult time being social again. After so long in quarantine, opening again to others and seeing smile again after the mask. So, even you wear a mask, you smile. People can actually see that, your smiling face, even the smiling face is behind the mask. Right, all right. And then Ninju Kumaran, Pranam Tashidelek. So Easter prostration to Eternal Sri Guru, Namo Namaha. Thank you, Master, for making the most profound teaching delightful and not intimidating. Thank you for teaching us how to use the physical aggregates to create openness, but only to what is genuinely beneficial. Your teaching make our heart genuinely smile, create spaciousness within us for what is real to grow. Always and without exception, Wednesday after Wednesday, this has become a day of abundance to us. Precious Guru comes over and over, teach compassionately, ceaselessly. You are welcome. So, Namo Namaha. And then I see Regula Tashidelek. Regula, thank you for this teaching. It really helps. I'm happy that it is helping you. And I have a question. Okay, so your question is, some practices have a refuge field and a merit field. What is the significance of having both? I think generally a refuge field is like a, sort of like when we actually say the refuge, sort of like a, so say like I go for refuge to Buddha, Dharma and Sangha. So the refuge field means sort of like you are actually visualizing, right? You like a, so it is like when you are saying I go for refuge to Buddha, Dharma and Sangha. So you have a image of Buddha, like enlightened, then image of Dharma, image of Sangha. So somehow that is the refuge field, sort of like. So it is something that you actually imagine, or you actually sort of like thinking that is in front. And then merit field is also kind of same, right? Sanam Gishing. So Kyamdu Shing, sort of like. So these are kind of different terms that we use, but basically it means that something in like a 10, like a 10 in Tibetan. 10 means something that where you actually rely, something that you are actually thinking, right? So so it is like a in the merit field. So like for example, like you are actually visualizing all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 10 directions. So you can visualize immeasurable Buddhas and Bodhisattvas throughout the 10 directions, right? And there's like, if we look there is in the space of immeasurable space, and there should be many Buddhas and Bodhisattvas everywhere. So somehow kind of you are actually bringing them in your mind, and So there you are actually doing a prostration, you are doing, a confession, and you are making the offering, and you are actually asking for blessing. So that is why it is called the merit field. So in kind of like from a term point of view, like terms point of view, right? So then refuge field is a merit field, and then merit field is also refuge field. Okay, so significance is yes, I think just kind of like to whom, right? Sort of like, for example, if you are doing a prostration, if you're going for a refuge, so then you're going to refuge to whom? So that is why it is the reflection, sort of like, for example, a reflection of your enlightenment, and then quality of your enlightenment, all the gradual Buddha, bodhisattvas, right? They are like the Sangha. So sort of like so that is the field. That is field means xing, right? In Tibetan we say sunam ge xing, xing, and sometimes we also use like a pen, like a pen, like a kusum tuk ten, right? Ten, like some xing. So they are actually similar. So that is in the practice, like bringing their bringing their kind of like presence, right? Bringing the presence of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, and then that is the fifth, all right? And John is, thank you Rinpoche for continue to teaching. I always look forward to Wednesday. Thank you, John. And then Helen person, Tashi Delek, first of all, dear Rinpoche, your effort to benefit by explaining the positive aspect of openness and smile, full of enthusiasm, yourself like expressing with both words and body language, like gesture, smile, and laugh is contagious. Thank you. You are welcome, Helen. And then Alex Norton. Alex, Tashidelek, can you talk about how to deal with people who hurt us or take advantage of our open nature? That is actually one kind of like a fear, obscuration, right? Sort of like somewhere we always kind of like we think that just kind of what you call. We think that okay, if I am open, then they will take advantage of me. But that is kind of little bit when we say I'm open, sort of like you open, and so you open your heart. So that doesn't mean we have to take everything personally. So I think when we take things personally, then I think when we take things personally, then it will hurt. But somehow this kind of like an open heart always comes with the open mind, right? So open mind also sort of like open mind is a wisdom. So open mind doesn't necessarily means without kind of like without investigating. So that is why open mind is analytical, right? It is analytical. So somehow it is kind of understanding. It is a wisdom. So you always have to keep the wisdom. So that is why kind of like we think that being open-minded will make us vulnerable. But if you really kind of go into this open-minded, like open heart, sort of like being open actually is like not, it's like a smart open, right? So it's kind of, if I use a street language, like being like a smart open, like we say like a, what do you call it? Street smart, right? Smart, sort of like just kind of like, I think when you actually know how to open your heart, actually it will not make you vulnerable. So that is the, I think that is one one concept that we have to understand. It is just like if being open and you become vulnerable, then your open heart is not going in the right direction. It's not like because the more open you are, the less vulnerable you become, right? Because less kind of like why it is because the more open you are, more open-hearted you are, the more smart you become. Actually, sort of like it is like you become more smart, so that people will actually not take advantage of you. So that is why that is and Alex, I think that is a very good question. That something that we always think that it will take advantage. Like and taking advantage means that you we are putting ourselves in a vulnerable situation, right? So somehow when we actually open our heart, the result should be it kind of like we have to make ourselves less vulnerable, right? The kind of like we should not actually kind of let other people victimize, right? So that is another bodhisattva practice, right? For example, if somebody comes, right? If somebody comes with this kind of like what do you call it? If somebody comes with a stick on their hand, and then you're saying that I'm bodhisattva, okay, I'm open-minded, and I'm going to let that person hurt me, then it is actually not smart, right? Why? Because you are kind and being kind, and then just kind of like if you let that person hit you, then somehow you are bodhisattva, and the person you actually let them hit you, actually what happened to that person? That person creates a lot of bad karma, right? That person creates a lot of huge negative karma, and then somewhere it is like if you let that person hurt you, then that person actually create a very huge negative karma. Then in the long run, you hurt that person, right? You hurt that person. So you don't want to hurt that person. You don't want to become a cause for that person's negative karma, right? And by knowing that you actually, it is just kind of like so then, okay, I am kind of good, it is my karma, so the person actually who is going to hurt me, it is his karma or her karma, but I am actually being kind and I'm going to let it hurt me, then you are not actually being concerned of that person's bad karma, right? So that is why, like as a bodhisattva, when you open your heart, you have to open your heart to other person, that you have to feel compassion for that person. So don't let yourself put in a vulnerable situation. You have to do anything that you should not put yourself in a vulnerable position, right? Why? Because you care about that person. You care about the well-being of that person. Because if you let yourself, become vulnerable to that person, and if that person hurt you and make pain to you, then that person will create a huge negative karma, right? So then what we have to do is we have to do something so that we will not actually fall into that vulnerable situation. So we should not let other people victimize you as a result of an open heart. So that is why open heart is compassion, right? You have to be compassionate. You have to concern about their benefit. It is you have to concern, you have to concern about their benefit, and then we should avoid, right? We should avoid things, from that person to harming us. We sort of if there is anything that I can do so that that person will not create negative karma, then I will do. Sort of like, so I will not put myself in a vulnerable situation. That is another meaning for open mind, open heart, actually, open heart. So you have to think. So that is why wisdom, right? You have to think of the wisdom. So kind of like the thing is that do anything so that that person will not create bad karma, right? So that is I always think like that. All right. Okay, so actually, Alex, that is a good question. I think many people have that question, kind of like one obstacle that, okay, I don't want to open my heart. Why? Because then people will take advantage of me. So it should be opposite. Don't let, if you let people take advantage, then that is not that is not open heart, right? So open heart means you are open, right? You are open for that is your, like you actually feel like you are not, you included that person as a very close, and you care about that person. So if you really do care about that person, then don't let that person harm you, right? So that is openness. All right. All right. So I think so. This is the question so far here, and we are also kind of running out of time here. Then everybody, keep yourself strong, healthy, and smiling. Even if you don't feel like smiling, keep smiling. All right. So be open mind, open heart, and those are the simple message. All right. So everybody, take care, and see you next time. All right.